Yo, what's going on, beautiful people of LeagueGaming.com? My name is Zumek, and we're back. We're back after a bit of a hiatus. I don't think I've done a show since bidding, but we're back. A lot of things have happened in League Gaming this week, as you probably are all well aware if you check the shout box at all and over the past few days. But yeah, we're back. We're going to talk about things that happened in the league this week. Teams that have been struggling, teams that are doing good. Hopefully the show isn't too long. I will try to kind of like export it to YouTube and post in the forums, so we're all, everyone that doesn't, people that don't catch the stream can also pay attention to what's going on. Sad news is I've heard that a few of the people that are doing media are going to step aside from it for a while, and that actually saddens me because I actually love watching Swifty and Fly's show, but they've made a decision to step aside, so I'm going to respect that. I'm going to keep doing media. I've also heard that the LG Doghouse is coming back. That's also exciting. They've already recorded their show. They're going to come out again, so lots of exciting things happening in LG Media. LG Media is alive, and it is flourishing, but we have some tier lists to discuss, and I watched Swifty's tier list show, and it didn't really seem like the tier list actually meant anything because the community loves to troll. So I've made my own tier lists, and yeah, we'll go ahead and discuss that. So we'll start with the QMJHL. Obviously, the Rimouski Oceanic are at the top of that. They have the most points, most wins. But then again, the Fours and the Volta Gears are right behind them. I honestly did not expect the Oceanic to do this well because I haven't really heard of many people on their team. But you look at teams like the Drummondville Volta Gears; they have a lot of the guys that have been on the Volta Gears before. They're going to do well. And then you have teams that are struggling, like the Mooseheads. Owner is Edgar, Memorial Cup finalist last season. Kind of shocked to see them do poorly, which is why they're not as low as they could be. They could be in E tier because they may, like where they are in the standings, they're only like 1 point out of playoffs. 1 point in playoffs, that is. But I see them as a team that will bounce back. That they will do better. Edgar will make some moves, and he may have already made some moves already, so. Rimouski has French people, so that's something that could, French connections seem to be a thing in this league because apparently the Quebec, they have their own like server, so connection is a thing in NHL if any of you played it, and it seems like the French lines always do good, and if they're if they're together, they'll play well. So that's my tier list for the QMJHL. F tier, the lone F tier, is going to be the Victoriaville Tigres. Yeah, X-Berries. I'll only put you at the C because you haven't really I expected your team to do better. Like before the season started, I would have had your team at like a B or an A maybe, but I think C right now is where you have a lot to prove. But yeah, X-Berries has been around the league for a while. He's been management in CHL, WJC. He's been all over the place. Made some good teams. Has a lot to prove. I hope you do well, buddy. But that's where the tier list is at right now. No, we just started. This is the QMJHL. Next is going to be the WHL. And then after that, it's going to be the O and the E. So, if you have any suggestion on where you think a team should be, feel free to type in the chat. You'll see the chat in the bottom right corner. But yeah, we'll move on to the WHL, as I just mentioned. And at the top of the standings is going to be the Blades and the Americans. Both of them are going to be vying for that Memorial Cup contending spot. Oh, yeah, by the way, the guidelines for the tiers are S tier is going to be the people contending for the Memorial Cup. A is going to be the conference contenders. B is going to be division winners and third rounders. C is going to be second rounders and competitive first rounders. D is going to be a bad playoff team. E is going to be they might miss the playoffs, and then F tier is going to be they're actually literally dog shit, and they should just they got to get better. That's all there is to it. So, as I mentioned, that the Americans and the Blades are doing well. We expected the Americans to do well. The Blades kind of came out of nowhere for me. I didn't expect them to do well at all. And yeah, the A tier, Red Deer and Calgary. I know Calgary is a different management team. It's not the same that we've had the past couple of seasons where they've been actually really well. But they've actually surprised a lot of people. I know on Swifty Shed, I think they had Calgary at like the E tier, and that's not deserving. They're obviously a really good team so far. I was reasons the Blades did well, and then they traded me. Facts. Well, I mean, honestly, teams aren't. This is a team game, right? So it's not just one player that's doing it. And yeah, this is Wiz's criteria for anybody who isn't aware. But getting off topic, Everett. I actually I'm on Seattle, and we played Everett, and we lost to them. Everett is a good team. They deserve to be in the tier they're in, or if not higher, they will only get better. Medicine Hat. Seattle, my team, is in the B tier. Yeah, I think we have one really good line, and then a second line that is kind of above average, and then the third line needs some work. That's kind of how I see our team. I think that a B tier right now for us is where we're at. You could maybe even move us down to the C, or even if you're optimistic, move us up to the A. But I think where we're at right now is kind of a fair spot. Moving over to the Swift Current Broncos, I'm pretty sure this is the same owner. I'm pretty sure Aces is still the owner of the Broncos. Yeah, he is. So hey, he's coming back this season again. He's been around the league for quite a while. He's been in the A. Seattle should be at the C. Yeah, fuck you, Big Mac. But yeah, so Golden Aces has been around the league for a while. Been in the upper leagues before. He managed a really good team last season. He'll do good this year again. Wouldn't be surprised to see him in the A tier soon. Onto the C tier, you have the Kamloops Blazers. We actually played against them and lost. The Kamloops Blazers are kind of misleading. They're in the second place in the Western Conference, but that's only because they're ahead of their division. So really, they're like 5th or 6th, and as far as like standings is concerned, yeah, that's why they're so low. Kelowna and Spokane take the other 2 spots in the C tier. Obviously, if you have something to say about these teams, feel free to let me know. I don't really know a lot of these teams. And then moving on to the D tier, you have the Moose Jaw Warriors and the Vancouver Giants. Both of these teams are doing not the best, but they can improve. E-tier teams, Wheat Kings, Regina Pats, Prince Albert Raiders, and Portland Winterhawks. I'm actually kind of surprised that Prince Albert has played as well as they have. I think everybody kind of counted them out before the season. Everybody expected them to do really shitty, and they proved us wrong. They're bringing the same management team back, and I would be surprised to see them on D or C tier in the near future. But yeah, good for you, Prince Albert. You're not utterly shit yet. And then moving on to the F tier, Edmonton, Lethbridge, Prince George, and the Royals. All of these teams have only 2 wins under their belt. All 4 teams are not performing as they would like. Like I said, only 2 wins in the week is actually really embarrassing, and they really need to reevaluate their strategy moving forward. Anybody have anything else for the W? I know Big Mac, you said that Seattle should be C tier. Like I said, that this can be moved around however your biases are, to be honest. Nothing? Alright, so we're moving on to the OHL. Now, I posted this tier list in my Discord server, and a few people were saying that Barrie Colts are too high because last season they did really well in the regular season and they just kind of like choked in the playoffs. Um, well, then they didn't kind of, they did choke in the playoffs. But honestly, I think right now for the regular season, having Barry lower than S tier is kind of an injustice to them. They have the best record in the OHL. Them along with the Windsor Spitfires are going to make a really good run in the playoffs. There's no doubt about it. Windsor is a really good team led by Swifty and Fly, both media personalities. And Fly is an AHLer. He knows what it's like to succeed in the CHL. And Trimmy, they brought on Trimmy from the Memorial Cup winning champion, the Kitchener Rangers from last season. Trimmy knows what it's like to win. Been in management before. Windsor, I don't see how they do look bad at all. Moving on to the A tier, you got Sudbury and Kitchener. Sudbury, I think that's the same management they've had as last season. Let me just double check that real quick. No, it's actually completely different, but they have a few of the players back. They brought back Bad Juju, but Bad Juju has a really high contract, so look out for that. But they're still doing well, as I can see. And Kitchener, I think a lot of people didn't think Kitchener was going to do well because the management core is back. But again, they had a lot of those re-signs from last season, even though they're in training camp. So yeah, I think they will do well. B tier, Ottawa 67s and Mississauga Steelheads. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. A lot of people counted out Mississauga. The entire league counted out Mississauga. I think they were F tier in Swifty Stream, but Mississauga turning heads. I think they were 2-2-1 in 1-goal games. So hey, 1-goal games can go either way. If they can get some improvement in that, they can get even better. I look for them to make a really good run in the playoffs. I didn't expect this at all. This is a new owner to the league. I don't think he's played a single season in the league at all, but coming into the league and making a huge impact first week. Love to see it. Go Steelheads. C tier, Hamilton, Owen Sound, London, Peterborough, and Flintbirds. One thing that I will say about the C tier is that I expected Owen Sound to do a lot better just because of the guys they have on their team, but maybe I was misguided. But Owen Sound, really, really disappointed that they're not doing as well as I would have thought, but hey, it is what it is. D tier, you have the Kingston Frontenacs, Oshawa, Erie, and the Sioux. Bachfist says didn't use a single re-sign on a single guy from last season that's played. Yeah, but I saw a lot of the same guys from last season in the training camp. Maybe that was just 2 seasons. My mistake. But Kingston, gotta love it. Old Glimmy had a really shitty week, 3-4-2. I expect them to get better though, because Glimmy makes trades. He makes the trades he needs to make, and I think they will get better. But Sarnia and Saginaw take the E tier, which, I mean, both of them are kind of vying for that 8th spot in the West. So either of these teams can miss the playoffs, but then again, Owen Sound is kind of just barely above them by 1 point, so they can even move down as well. But I just think Owen Sound will get better. Sarnia and Saginaw will have a lot of work to do. F tier, Niagara, North Bay, and the Guelph Storm. Niagara and North Bay are in the F tier because they are they only have 1 win. I know you said Niagara in the F tier, what in the world is going on there, and that's what it is. They have 1 win. Obviously 1 win out of 9 is not what you want to see from the Niagara Ice Dogs. I was on their team last season. I think it's the same ownership group. Tough to see. Tough to see that. I really hope Cryo can pick it up and make some moves and do better. But North Bay, I think a lot of people expected North Bay to do bad, and they're just kind of like living up to what everyone expected. Their 1 win is against Barrie Colts, though, which is kind of shocking. And then the Guelph Storm, yeah, I mean, they're just kind of last place in their conference. They could even move to E tier, but this is where I have them. Nutty Grandpa, he's been around the league for a while. hopefully they do better. Anything else for the OHL while I'm still here? Niagara season 34, no recognition. Yeah, Niagara did decent last season. They made it to the playoffs, but they got beat by a better team in the first round, Sudbury Wolves. And Sudbury went on to make a good run in the playoffs. So hey, Niagara, hopefully they turn around, but didn't have a good week this week. All right, moving on to the ECHL. I think this is the last one. So this is gonna be controversial because Brampton is an S tier, but I think they deserve to be an S tier. They're top of their conference, and they won the ECHL last season. I think anything less than an S tier or even an A tier is kind of a disservice to them. But the Toledo Walleye obviously had a better week. 9-0, really great start for the Toledo Walleye. Hopefully they, for their sake, they keep it going. Honestly, I didn't expect them to do well at all, like preseason. Kind of just look at their lineup. I don't really recognize any of these guys, but that goes without saying that I don't recognize a lot of the players in this league. But 9-0, good start, good for them. Keep it going. A tier, the Tulsa Oilers. It's pronounced Tulsa. Tulsa Oilers and the Orlando Solar Bears in the A tier. Both of these teams are doing extremely well. Solar Bears and Oilers are both second in their conference respectively. Obviously, the Orlando Solar Bears could be even S tier, just for the fact that they're tied with Brampton. Oilers S tier, Tulsa S tier. Hey, it's hard to get S tier when Toledo is kind of just running through the fucking ECHL right now. But yeah, that's the A tier. B tier is going to be Jacksonville, Newfoundland, Kalamazoo, and the Utah Grizzlies. The Utah Grizzlies, I think, was the lone F tier team in Swifty's tier list from the community that they voted on. But hey, Utah is playing out of their minds right now. 7-2. I don't think anyone saw this coming from them. But yeah, I look at their roster. There's not really anybody I recognize. The only person I recognize is Germaniac. And any team Germaniac is on is going to do bad. And that's about all I see for Utah. A lot of the I can't cover every team and just know what's going on because there's 82 teams, right? That's why you see so many teams in the E tier in the ECHL because there's so many teams and a lot of them are gonna miss the playoffs. So yeah, that's it for the B tier. I don't have much else to say for that. Tulsa's legit, 3 solid lines, and all I've seen improve every day. The Tulsa dedication is real. Yeah, I mean, Tulsa is doing well. They're going to keep doing well. I mean, maybe even just fix that third lineup just a tad, and this team is going to do really great things. I see them making a great run in the playoffs, so good for you, Tulsa. Expansion team that's making a run out the gate. This has to be a troll list. I mean, just look at the standings. Look at what do you think should be different? Speak your mind. Anyways, C tier. Moving on to the C tier, you have South Carolina, Rapid City Rush, and the Indy Fuel. Indy Fuel with the absolute worst logo in all of LG. That is just terrible. Who designed that logo should be fired. Anyways, South Carolina, Rapid City, and Indy. I think South Carolina is still run by the same core. Yeah, Wes McCauley is back. He brought Sean Boswell. I think Boswell was on TC a few seasons ago, but they're doing well. Yeah, that's all I recognize from their team. But hey, Wes McCauley builds good teams. I've heard that's a really good locker room atmosphere to be a part of. They're in the C tier. Rapid City as well. They were up there a couple seasons ago. I think Captain Paul, he's been around with the Rapid City Rush. Bam Bam Bilodeau, I recognize that name as well. And yeah, Wolfle Your Chin. They got a good solid team right there as well in Rapid City. And Indy Fuel, the team with the atrocious logo. I don't recognize anybody. I think Marty has been around the league for quite a bit. Arno and Marty know each other. They got the same matching gamer tag kind of style going there. But anyways, that's it for C tier. Karoxy says, them Brampton boys can't handle these oil slicks. Toledo is official. They can't handle the Soviet island. You can't argue with greatness. the Brampton dynasty lives on. They did better than they've ever done last season. Made it to the Mem Cup finals even. Just short against the better Kitchener Rangers team. But hey, what can you do? Brampton's gonna do well. Not enough said. That's all you can say. And this gets around to where like there's no way I can cover all these teams. Like D tier is going to be Allen, Atlanta, Maine, Wheeling, and the Comets. Like I have nothing to say for any of these teams. Like I don't know any of them, honestly. We are better. Okay, you know what? That's enough. You can't just say we are better. Honestly, I want to see these two teams play each other. Tulsa and Brampton. That should be an interesting matchup. Let's see. Did they play each other? I'm looking at the schedule. And yeah, they actually play each other this week, so hey. Honestly, I know this is kind of off topic, but I want to get back into like doing live commentaries of CHL games. So if there's any games that you want to see like live streamed by me and I do a commentary over it, let me know either in the chat or in the forum thread. We also played Toledo. Yeah, okay, so I'm excited to see the things going on in the ECHL. This is a huge league. There's a lot of stuff going on. So yeah, I mean, at the bottom tier, you got the Steelheads, and they're 0-9. The only 0-9 team in the entire CHL. They didn't get a single fucking win this week, so hey. Honestly, if they were the lone F-tier team, I would not be surprised. But the Everblades didn't do that well either, 1-8. You hate to see it. Let's look at the Steelheads team, actually. Because I know there's been a lot of guys like on the Steelheads team that have been just like requesting trades in the shop box, and that's been a fucking train wreck in itself. But Chromaholic, I've seen the name before. He's been around. Air Raiders, the guy wants to get traded. Air Raiders is always one of those guys that's kind of been around the league, knows what he's doing. Honestly, I think that the main issue with Idaho is their owner is a goalie, and whenever an owner's a goalie, it never goes well. That's just kind of a proven fact, honestly. So yeah, anything else for the ECHL? I think that's about it. I don't know if I missed anything. If I missed anything, let me know. Yeah. 39-minute time on attack difference for Tulsa. Let me go check that, actually. I don't even think you can see any of the standings anyways. Sorry about that dog in the background. So yeah, people that pronounce Tulsa Tusla can go fuck off. It's pronounced Tulsa. Anyways, moving on to the next topic of discussion. You saw this in the intro. I mentioned that I was going to talk about it before the show, and this is something that needs to be discussed. It's been discussed on Swifty's show, and it's apparently it's going to be discussed on the Doghouse, and I'm going to talk about it. There's been a movement across the league, and the CHL in particular, to kind of crack down on code of conduct violations. LG has a zero tolerance for racism, and the community is fed up that for a while racism has kind of been one of those things that gets swept under the rug and not talked about, and that isn't really punished as harshly as maybe it should be. But this all kind of came about, and this is not even the biggest issue, but this all came about because the issue with Six Side Math and Finney. Finney is a well-respected member of the community. We respect him on the show and around the league. And Finney was harassed by a a member who should be held to a higher standard. And Math said some really ugly things, and you they were racist. There's no way to go around it. The things Math said were racist, and I commend the league for doing something about it now, but it should have been done sooner. And I'm glad things are turning around, and I don't think things would have been turning around without the movement that is going around in the CHL. But like I said before, things turning around. McDonald posted this thread. I would suggest you go read this yourself. Basically saying that LG doesn't excuse racism at all. And actually has a link to this thread. I suggest you all go vote on this thread. Lots of overwhelming support in this. Karaxi, who will be on the show in just a bit, I'm actually going to give him the role right now to get on the show. But he made a thread that's I think you all should go vote on. I voted on it. But basically to kind of make harsher punishments for code of conduct violations and specific racism, because again, zero tolerance means zero tolerance. And I like how what's happened today. Kiroxy, welcome to the show, by the way. Glad you can join us. Okay, so basically, like, talk to me about what kind of brought you into this discussion, and then why you decided to take a stand for this.
It's honestly though, it doesn't matter who.
Right, for sure.
You know, like that doesn't matter, right? Let's get that out there. It doesn't matter. What brought me into it is we were talking about it in another chat, and I just started. It just really irritated me, so I wanted to go to Shittle. I just wanted to have a discussion with him, and things just escalated from there, right? You know, the point of all this, so the thing that is happening and that we're already seeing is we need to get rid of racism, right? Racism is racism. That I believe everyone agrees with that.
For sure.
How we go about doing that, the moves we need to make, that's on the staff's hands. I believe, and I try, like crazy enough, me, season 29 bog that went off the rails. I really do believe staff is going to do the right thing here. Brody's already like insanely involved with this very quickly. When we talked this morning about it, um, he expressed me he was very for like he was on the side of harsher punishments for racism. Um, and the discussion immediately, like very quickly, turned into okay, so how do we fix it? And this was before anything on Twitter. This was before any bans. This was before anything happened that escalated this issue into an expedited matter. You know, we were already talking, like we were moving, and so I really do have faith that Brody and the team are going to move towards the right direction. I think now we have to do our part personally.
Yeah.
Um, if we see something, report it. If you see someone else, like Finney, like anyone else, stand up for them. It's they're like, if anyone wants to go at someone for standing up for someone else or defending someone else, if anyone wants to, bash someone for defending someone, I feel like that person needs to question their own integrity and their own
For sure.
decision making, right? So let's just all get on board. Let's do the right thing. I feel like it's that simple. Right now, I believe they're having a meeting, and I want to express that. There's so many different factors that go into this, right? Like how do we get rid of racism and how do we define what racism is? And in my eyes, I feel like you can't really define that. And I feel like Brody also agrees as well. I've seen comments made by him that indicate that, and I think the staff's going to do the right thing here with handling the situation. Should it have happened sooner? Absolutely, but let's not dwell on that. If you continue to stomp on something for what happened in the past, you can't let it grow in the future, right? So let them grow. Let the staff handle this. Let them do the right thing, and I believe they will. I think it's our turn though to continue
For
to
sure.
doing our part, and let's let's get rid of racism ourselves, right? Like let's not just sit back and say, okay, staff's got it, we're good.
Right,
Let's.
and this situation with math isn't really like the main issue. It's just kind of happened that this is the most recent instance of racism, that kind of got kind of excused and nothing really happened to him. Um, and again, what happened to Finney should never happen to anyone. The attacks against him and even from higher up leadership on the site that kind of threatened him with a ban if he kept complaining about it, that was uncalled for. And I'm glad that uh, CJ made that apology, and I'm glad they rectified this decision and gave Math the capital ban. This guy does not deserve to be on our platform. He should not be, because owners are held to a higher standard, right? So um, if you're an owner, you shouldn't be a racist. That's just all there is to it. But um, again, this starts with us. Do better, be better. If you see something, hear something in an Xbox party chat, even say something, because you never know. We're all hiding behind our microphones. You never know what's behind the microphone, right? You never know if somebody is a person of color or if they're a certain sexual orientation, right? So, be kind to one another. Don't be racist. Don't be homophobic. It shouldn't be that hard. Um, but I love the direction we're going in. I love seeing this movement in the shop box. Keep being vocal about it. Um, but I'm glad the league is seeing it and hearing us and is making a change, and they're trying to rectify their mistakes. Any last thoughts, Karoxy? Oh,
Sorry, I was muted there. Last thoughts. I'd say, um, let's not create that fine line. That's kind of a fear here. I feel like if we start trying to define what is and what isn't racist ourselves, then we create a fine line, and people are going to walk that fine line. People test the bogs every day. They say things just to see, it's try to spark a reaction. So I feel like if we create a fine line, people are going to walk it. People are going to ultimately cross it. Let's just get rid of it altogether. And it's that simple. As far as like, I do want to make a statement about Kraus, right? Like I don't think we really said anything about
no,
him,
I
right?
don't think we did.
Like I see him in the chat here. He actually is a major factor in all this. I mean, he kind of is. I guess I would give him credit to the expeditation or whatever the fuck the word is. Sorry, words are tough.
Yeah, right.
He is the reason I feel like everything kind of happened as quickly as it did. It got Brody involved.
Mm-hmm.
It got um, them talking. I believe that the meeting they're having is not only to discuss racism, but they have bans to discuss now. So they have to come together and talk about this. And I feel like that should not go unnoticed. I don't think it will. And kudos to Kraus,
Free Kraus.
and everyone really. Like honestly, Finney for sticking with his guts, sticking with his beliefs and how he was treated. Everyone who stood up for Finney,
Mm-hmm.
everyone who's voted on the poll already, everyone who will vote for the poll. It doesn't. It's not one person. It's not two people. It's we all are going to be what ultimately causes the change we want. So let's keep it rolling.
And I appreciate you for coming on the show, Karoxy. I know you've kind of put a lot out there, and you've made yourself known for this cause, and I appreciate you. I appreciate everybody who's saying something, who's voting on the poll. Again, please vote on the poll. It's in the forums. There. I mean, if you ask somebody for a link in the shop box, they'll give it to you. I'll give it to you if I see you in the shop box. But go vote in the poll. I love the outpouring of support, and let's all keep Finney in our thoughts. I know he's dealing with a lot right now. It's kind of hard for him to kind of show himself, just simply because of all the things going on. But we respect you, Finney. We love you, and we hope that you were doing well in this tough time, and hope all you are doing well as well, because this isn't just an LG issue. This is a hockey issue, and this is a world issue, and I hope we all strive to be better, and let's just keep moving forward and do better. So thanks for coming on the show, Karoxy. I've been Zumek, and we'll see you on the next show.